Hey guys, this is Comic and today I'm doing a review for Arrow. So let's start talking about this episode. With this episode, we get to see, this is very much a centric episode for the League of Assassins, once again, and Malcolm, because in the last episode we got to see that Thea was in a coma because of the bloodlust, and you think, yeah, Malcolm would totally want to save his daughter, so, he's trying to figure out a way to save Thea, and obviously Team is too, and Nissa's like, I will give you the Lotus if Malcolm gives the ring back, and Malcolm, of course, does not want to give away that power, and, he tries to fight Nissa, and in the end, actually ends up fighting Oliver in a duel, and Oliver had the chance to kill him, but instead chops off his arm. Yes, so, or at least hand. And now Malcolm is pissed off because Nissa is Ra's al Ghul, and, she does something that's surprising. She doesn't really want the power. She wanted to disband the League of Assassins, and she throws the ring in the fire. Malcolm is pissed. He wanted that power. So now he is, hates Oliver. There's, like, no coming back to that. And, he's teaming up with Damien Darhk and says, oh, you know what Oliver Queen loves the most? It's William. Which also, I guess that makes sense, because I was gonna say that he doesn't know that Green Arrow and Oliver are the same person, but I'm sure he'll find out very soon with Damien. But yeah, that was the big cliffhanger of the episode. And then we also have a side story with, Felicity and her father, and seeing if he was a good or bad guy or not, and he was pretty much a bad guy, and Felicity kind of dealing with that. And then flashbacks, of course, we get to see whatever, there's the stone that kind of looked like the Hosen from Season 1 that Oliver gave Thea, so I thought that was going to deal with something in the plot, but totally is not. They just have to dig in on the island. I'm like, okay, cool. So that's the flashbacks. What do I think of this episode as a whole? I'm gonna say there's obviously some cool moments to happen in this episode, and it's a really cool character building episode, but there was a lot of problems here too. Talking about the good stuff, obviously having that crazy moment where Malcolm gets his hand chopped off. I didn't really see it coming, even though in the Green Arrow mythology it's happened a lot. I don't know what I was expecting. I knew that Malcolm wasn't gonna die, but I didn't really expect that either. But I like kind of unraveling Malcolm a bit, because one thing I enjoy about his character a lot is that he lies a lot. He never is telling the truth. He's always deceiving somebody, and even his daughter, and we've seen that. So when you see that he has the chance to save Thea, he cares about power more than Thea. Now, does Malcolm care about his daughter? I think he does, but it's definitely mixed up with him caring about power more, and that's really shown in this episode, and not caring for Oliver at this point because he was betrayed. But I am really curious to see what Malcolm and Thea's relationship's going to be after this episode, or if they're even going to have a relationship after this episode, after Thea finds out what happened. So I definitely enjoyed that moment and kind of seeing exactly what type of character he is. Now, going into Nissa's character, I think Nissa was really well done in this episode, and she was probably the best part of this episode. As much as I loved Malcolm, I did have some problems with this story, but Nissa was probably the best part, because what I like about Nissa is obviously she's not a hero. I don't think she'll ever join Team Arrow, but she's not really a villain either. She's not her father's daughter in a lot of ways, and that's why this episode's called Sins of the Father, because it has to do with not just Malcolm or the Calculator, also has to do with Oliver being a father, and Nissa's father too. So it's not just one character, it's many characters dealing with what their fathers have done in the past, or just being a father and what that means. So I think the name of this episode was very well done. But going back to Nissa, what I liked is that you understood what position she was taking, and that's why she is an anti-hero, that she will, kill someone if it means her motive she thinks is correct, and is the right thing. And I like her relationship between Laurel, and Laurel saying, do you want to be like your father? And her saying, no, I don't. But she still goes and tries to defeat Malcolm, not because she wants power, it's because she wants to destroy the League of Assassins and destroy, what that was. And I really like Nissa for doing that. And again, I think Nissa's a very interesting character because of that, and I always felt like she was an interesting character. So Nissa, I felt, was actually the MVP of this episode. Now, going into why I didn't really like some of Malcolm's story is, even though I really liked the character development, I thought the ending was really weak with him going to Damien. I'm like, alright, cool. I think it would have been stronger, a build up to what has been happening throughout the whole episode if he says the person you need to kill is Thea Queen, because then that really shows that he cares about revenge more than his daughter, and maybe he does care about his daughter in some way, but it would be like at that moment, his rage for Oliver is like, alright, you gotta go kill Thea, because that is the person he cares about the most. But then they go to William, which honestly is still a story that I don't like. I don't think this whole, hey, I have a son that's 8 thing really works for this season or the show in general. So I'm really not liking that story. And then to bring it up again and make it for Damien, I didn't think it really made that much sense. So I think they were trying to tie in Oliver to the theme of the episode, but I don't think that was totally necessary. I think this episode was more for Malcolm and Nyssa. It was more of a League of Assassins episode, and I don't think Oliver's son had to be put into this. And I wish that was a forgotten storyline, because again, I really just don't care about it that much. Now, also, of course, Thea. So Thea was in a coma for most of the episode, and as a Thea fan, obviously I would like to see a little bit more from her, because there's a lot of story to explore with her character. Hopefully will be explored in the next episode, but I guess my problem is that the Bloodlust storyline, you know, I was really excited about it because it brought something different, but it just made her a plot device, which was definitely the fear of what the storyline was going to be about, and now I don't really know what the point of the Bloodlust was. Like, oh, it was all because of this storyline? I don't know how to feel about that, especially because they played it on so much with the whole Damien Dark situation and that Damien cured her. I'm like, is that still going to be played in some way? Like, I still would, again, I've said this in other reviews, I hope they do some of the magic stuff with Thea. Maybe that could be a side effect of this Lotus thing, because if it's just the Lotus, it goes back to like the penicillin thing in season 3 where Oliver, the big cliffhanger of Oliver, you know, dying, and there's like, oh, here's penicillin or whatever, you're cured. So it goes back to that. It's like you had this plot line that, you know, fans were, at least for me, it was very excited about and has been building up for half the season, and then you don't really do much with it, and it just leads up to this point. Obviously it does a lot for Malcolm's story, but I feel like they could have gone to that place without Thea having a bloodlust and doing that storyline. So, yeah, I was kind of upset with that. Hopefully, you know, something comes out of it in future episodes and stuff with Damien Dark, but wasn't happy with the way they dealt with that in this episode. So those are kind of some of the problems I had, but overall, like I said, I did have fun with a lot of the episode, even though there was a lot of back and forth. I feel like a lot of the episode didn't need to take as much time as it did. It took a lot of time to get to that final battle, a lot of back and forth, a lot of talking about the same thing over and over again. And then also I feel Felicity's story. There was a lot of Felicity in this episode, and as much as I do like the character, I don't think we needed as many scenes with her here. I think we could have had some other characters had more screen time in this episode, because like even in the end with the whole marriage thing, I'm like, did you really need that in this part of the episode? I don't know. I think I'd rather have had something else towards the last 5 minutes. And even though I think it does make sense with Felicity's father and the calculator being in this episode, it did take a lot of time, where I think they could have focused a little bit more on the League of Assassins stuff, because we just got the Felicity episode, a lot of centric episodes with her, so it would have been nice to have some more screen time for the other characters for this particular episode. So yeah, that was my opinion on the episode. I was very excited, disappointed in some parts, but there's definitely a lot that happened here, and we'll see how it plays off, and hopefully we get to see some more Speedy, obviously, in the next episode, because Theo wasn't really in this one that much. So let me know in the comments below what you thought about the episode, though. This is Comic Uno. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Don't forget to like my Facebook page. Also, description below, there's links from my comic book, Like Father Like Daughter. And don't forget to like the Facebook page of Like Father Like Daughter. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.